Alright guys, welcome to the Republic video. In this one I kind of want to talk about how I'm trying to play it here. I wouldn't say this is optimal at all. I'm trying to play this as a full secondary build. So I have BFT, AFT, manual secondaries, demolition expert. I got a lot of stuff here to make these secondaries reach 12 kilometers, 12.1. That is the longest range secondaries you can possibly get in the game, which is pretty cool. And they do fire pretty quick as well. And the important thing about Republic secondaries is their fire chance. The little secondaries with this build have a 12% fire chance, which matches the Ohio. And then the 152 millimeter guns, of which you have 9, which is pretty solid. Those have 15% fire chance, which is kind of nuts, as you're going to see in a few of these clips. The amount of secondary damage we get just because of fires is kind of hilarious. Yeah, that's what makes them good. As you can see, a couple hits and instantly on fire. And as we know, fire is pretty strong in this game. I don't think there's any denying that. And yeah, the problem with running this build is just how vulnerable Republic is as far as its armor goes. This ship is not tough at all. It can't tank shells very much at all, unless you get lucky, but usually you don't get very lucky. This ship does have turtleback, but it's by no means perfect. You're going to see in a later clip just how you can Citadel Republic through its turtleback. You got to get pretty lucky to do that, as far as I've found, but it's by no means like German turtleback. Yeah, this is a fun ship. It's really hard to try and play it like this, I'm going to be honest. This was a challenge for me to even find games like this one and the next one. You're going to see. So this ship is definitely much better played at range, where you can dodge shells by moving your ship back and forth like this. Obviously that won't work at close range, but at longer ranges the ship's maneuverable enough to actually dodge shells. And these main guns are amazing, 431 millimeter guns, I believe. So you overmatch 30 millimeters of armor, which is common on most cruisers. And the reload you can get on the main guns is pretty insane at, I believe it's 21.9 seconds with the full reload build. I'm running secondary module because I'm trying to force this secondary build to work. But this is a really good ship at long range. This is not where it's supposed to be, and I don't know why Wargaming put these long range secondaries on it. I guess so idiots like me can try and make it work at all costs, even if it's not good, or but yeah, that's the fun part about this game. You can kind of do whatever you want to, right? As you can see, 32 millimeters of armor everywhere on this ship, which means Yamato, Musashi, and Shikishima all overmatch you with their armor piercing and deal tons of damage. The other downside of this armor is being 32 millimeters. A lot of guns in this game with high explosive are able to full pen that, and so you're not going to be winning many fights against cruisers that can bounce your AP. And even if they can't, like a Des Moines, let's say, or a Salem, where you overmatch their armor, you shoot pretty infrequently, and the dispersion, well, it is flat, because this ship actually gets half the vertical dispersion of most other battleships, and that's why the dispersion seems so flat. It's really wide, so if cruisers bow into you, they won't actually take that much damage, because your shells are just going to land on either side of them most of the time. As you can see, the secondaries don't have any special accuracy bonuses compared to German secondaries, let's say. The Ohio, Georgia, Massachusetts are the only ones that get that, so you're kind of just relying on volume of shells here. So again, this build is not, I wouldn't recommend this build, but it's pretty hilarious and fun when you do get it working properly. I'm going to speed this up here as I end up beaching. I didn't realize the island stuck out this far. But, yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're in these close islands. Not all of them have the best hitboxes. Yeah, my positioning in this game is pretty aggressive. I've been trying to use the islands, as you can see, to try and be a little bit covered. But it hasn't worked out so well so far. We still have 2 million potential damage, but as you can see, those fires are just ticking our damage up over time. We get pretty solid damage just because of fires, and yeah, I wish that wasn't the case. I was talking to a friend of mine today about fires and what would be a good way to balance them, because right now it feels like fire prevention is just necessary on a battleship. Like, it's like a must-have. I'm not running it because I'm YOLOing in with these secondaries, and that's the only way you can do it with secondary builds. But I was talking to my friend, and he was suggesting that maybe 3 fires should be the standard on battleships, and then the fire prevention would put it down to 2 fires maximum, which I can see that being a good change. I can see that being pretty solid. As you can see, our damage has ticked up to 145,000, and we got a Witherer now. So yeah, we got a triple fire running on this guy that he can't repair, and you see how fast it ticks up in damage. It's comical, I think, how much damage fires do. You just lose health so fast when you have more than 2 fires on. Even 2 fires does approximately 20,000 damage. So 3 fires is 30,000 damage, right? Like, it's comical how much damage it does just from a simple little RNG based dice roll when you hit someone with high explosive ammo. Thunder is always going to deal massive damage with HE. Doesn't matter if we were. That wouldn't matter if we were in, well, anything but a Kremlin. Basically, wouldn't have shattered that. So. No difference there as far as Republic armor goes. We were dead here anyway, but as you can see, our secondaries light another fire. So that's 10 fires in just that short amount of time that I actually had my secondaries up. So pretty comical amount of damage. You can pause it or go back and look at that score sheet if you want to. But on to the next one. I was really trying to make this work, so I'm forcing in here. Somehow I Citadel in Ohio through its bow. I don't know if Wargaming want to check that or what. That seems like a bug to me. That shouldn't happen. That just shouldn't happen. But as you can see, fire. You know, double fire and triple fire. Look at that, all on one ribbon. That's how fast. As you can see, this ship can be citadeled, as that Ohio did just with its front 2 turrets, by the way. And so now our damage is just going to tick up on those fires, but we're dead here. There's a Shimakaze in front of us. He actually doesn't torp us, he just out RNGs us with fire. Yeah, fires are nuts in this game. They really are, and that's kind of the downfall to this build, is you're just so bad against fire, and it kills you as soon as you try and push in. So I would recommend running some kind of build that would involve fire prevention, basics of survivability, and then running the accuracy module and main gun build. That way you can sit at 15 to 20 kilometers and do your thing. Because these guns are good. They're really good. As you can see, we just 45k'd that man, and he's dead. But as you can see, we were under triple fire there from a Shimakaze, which is kind of hilarious. Or double from the Shimakaze, one from the Yoshino, right after we repaired it already. So fires are kind of nuts. But yeah, we died in that one. And this one, I just kind of want to go over the long range performance. This game, again, I'm trying to force a secondary build. It's the same build, but this one is just, I've been forced to play at long range. You can see the Shimakaze on the map that's pushed up the 10 line for some reason. I've never really seen a DD kind of solo around this way, so he kind of forced me to just sit here for 5 minutes and do nothing. But we're getting into the action now. As you can see, 40k'ing Yamato. The accuracy of this ship is amazing vertically. The vertical accuracy is so good. And that's why it's so amazing against broadside targets, because you want really good vertical dispersion. Your horizontal doesn't matter as much because there's more horizontal to hit. So that's what makes this ship so good against broadsides. The other thing is the really fast reload. Being just over 20 seconds with a full gun build is nuts. Cruisers can never get a full turnout, right? Like, we 30k'd that Henry just there. Like, these guns are awesome. We were just at 4,000 damage, I believe, and now we're at 75. Yeah, the guns have insane velocity. Not Slava, but like really good shell velocity. They have really high amounts of pen, and the reload means that a cruiser like this that's kind of bow into you, he won't be able to turn out in time by the time before my shells are reloaded in my guns, and I'll just catch him on a broadside. That's the strength of this ship, is the insane reload. It's basically a battlecruiser reload. In exchange for that, you get this really weak hull, and you gotta be kind of okay with that. But for the most part, in random battles, it's fine, because if you don't play like I have been in these couple games, trying to force out a secondary build, it's absolutely super strong. You know, you would sit back a little bit farther than I am, obviously, in these games, and you would do massive damage. Being able to overmatch cruisers, and even as much as I hate to say it, the high explosive on this ship isn't bad. If you have to deal with bow-in battleships, it's not bad. The horizontal dispersion kind of ruins it a little bit, but if you land shells, you're going to deal tons of damage. As you can see here, we would have died if I didn't have my damage con coming up now. Fires are fun. Lots of fun to deal with. Yeah, and that's gonna be almost it from this corner. So we'll pick up here a little farther on into the game, and get some more long range shots in. This ship is just good at long range, honestly. It's no Slava, but Slava doesn't get overmatch on 32mm cruisers, and this thing does. I mean, these are broadsides here, so Slava would be doing a bunch of damage as well. But yeah, being able to hit cruisers at long range pretty easily with a fast reload that overmatches their armor is pretty awesome. That's definitely the way to play this ship, with a concealment tank build and a gun build. I'm just playing it this way because I like trying to make weird brawling ships work. And it can, as you've seen, you know, we get pretty high damage numbers pretty quickly. You just die really quickly. You know, this ship tanks damage and lives long enough just based on the health pool alone. So it's not easy to play it like this, and sometimes it's not very fun because you never get it close enough to use the secondaries, even though that's what you're building for. But it's fun. It's a fun ship. Just because the reload is so quick, you don't actually notice bad dispersion or bad RNG nearly as much as on other battleships where, you know, you got a 30-second reload and you see your shots go out and they all miss, maybe because you aimed poorly, or maybe because you just got unlucky with your dispersion. And then you get 30 seconds to sit there and think about that and how you're so unlucky you were. But in this ship, you only get 20 seconds. So that's it's nice to play a ship like this every once in a while. The one thing I really just don't like about it is you can't. It's so bad trying to push in and make something happen in this ship. For those games where your team isn't doing anything and you just have to make a play in order to try and win the game, this is not the ship for that. And that's kind of what I like in my battleships, is when I can make that play because my armor is good enough. This one can't. You just have to wait until the enemy makes a mistake, and you punish it. This ship punishes enemy mistakes quite well, but it's no playmaker, I would say, at all. And that's okay. Not every ship needs to be a playmaker. So yeah, I definitely, if you don't have this ship, I definitely recommend you try it, especially if you don't usually like battleships. This doesn't feel like a battleship as much. It feels more like these super heavy cruiser type of ships. It's just this one is more AP focused yet than a lot of them, because it can do stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a good day.